Hi, everyone. Welcome to Economics and You. I am your host, Mr. Samuelson, and today we're going to be looking at monetarism and the economy. We'll be looking at the ideas of this man right here, Milton Friedman, on how monetary policy should be used and the problems of fiscal policy. So, theory of monetarism. Monetarism deals with the amount of money the Federal Reserve puts into circulation in the U.S. economy. Now, monetarists emphasize the importance of smooth annual increases in the money supply. They're not going to be reactionary. They want predictability and stability, a smooth annual increase in the money supply. Now, according to this theory, the economy is too complex to try to manage through complex monetary policy or really through fiscal policy at all, that it should simply be this smooth, steady increase. So, monetarist government policy. Monetarists would prefer that Congress and President really avoid either contractionary or expansionary policies, that they're just not good at this stuff and should leave it alone, else they cause more problems than they solve. Monetarists believe that the Fed, through monetarist policy, monetary policy, should target an increase in the annual money supply in the United States of about 3 to 5%. That 3 to 5% is going to account for growth in the economy, and it's also going to stabilize inflation. The government, that is our Congress and the president, should focus on creating balanced budgets. Okay, so they're not spending more money than they're taking in. Because the only reason our government spends more than it brings in is through fiscal policy concerns to keep the economy growing. Leave that to the Fed, and Congress can have balanced budgets. So, monetary rule. With monetary rules, the government no longer seeks to smooth the ups and downs of the market. Okay, it's no longer the government's role to slow down a fast economy or to pull the country out of a recession. That's not something that our elected officials do anymore. The Fed would help to do these policies simply by targeting money supply. And the monetarists will believe that keeping that 3 to 5% increase throughout an annual basis gives people certain knowledge about a smooth economic growth, and that 3 to 5% margin will, by its very nature, slow expansions because there won't be enough money, or pull us out of recessions by injecting money to keep us at that 3 to 5%. Nothing more would be needed. So, monetarism and the Fed. What is the role of the Fed if this is all that we're doing? Well, without fiscal policy, the Fed really becomes in charge. Kind of. It's definitely more of the free market, though. The Fed is just tweaking things and letting the free market be more free. So, what do we do under this? We've got mass unemployment. What should we do? What should we do? They say, do nothing. Unemployment is not something that we care about anymore. Okay? We're going to let the free market take care of that. We're just going to ensure that there's the right amount of money in the free market. If we do that, mass unemployment will no longer be a problem. So monetarists hold that the Fed should avoid any action that interferes with the market except for targeting either a growth of 3 to 5%, or another way to look at this is an inflation rate of about 2%. You're going to wind up in a similar place if you're targeting both of those things. So, why do monetarists hate fiscal policy? That's what we're going to focus on for the rest of this video. Monetarists claim that fiscal policy is a distraction to the president and Congress. They have to do a lot of things. They've got a very big job as it is. They should not be worried about fiscal policy. By spending so much time on fiscal policy, they're not able to do other things that require the government's attention and require, they're big problems, and they require big solutions that the president and Congress should be working on instead of doing fiscal policy. Why is fiscal policy so ineffective? Well, there's a time lag. It's slow to impact the economy. Fiscal policy solutions are not immediate. They're not even close to immediate. Tax increases or cuts don't have a large impact on immediate spending. Long term, yeah, but immediate, no. This time lag means that the problems being addressed by a fiscal policy may no longer exist by the time it is fully implemented. We can see on this chart over here, right? This blue line is the point at which a recession begins. But we don't always know that a recession has begun until later. Early 2020, the recession brought on by coronavirus. It's not identified until much later because we need the data to confirm that we're in recession, but it's a recession. So there's a recognition lag. Then you have to respond to it once you know it's a problem. Then it takes a while for that response to take effect. And by the time we're addressing the fact of the recession, we may already be climbing out of it. That is why fiscal policy is not always the best approach. Now, sometimes you know you're going into a recession and it doesn't apply as much, but you usually don't know that you're in a recession. It creeps up on you. Right, so fiscal policy and elections. The final biggest argument given by monetarists is elections, right? We have the president, we have Congress, they want to be reelected. They like having their jobs. They want to go out to the people and deliver a message that's popular and wins them re-election. So they choose popular policies to back up. And popular policies, sometimes, especially economic ones, tend to give short-term gains, but not always are they good in the long term. Sometimes what our economy really needs is higher taxes and less spending at the same time. And nobody is going to go out and say, hey, if elected, I promise to increase your taxes and provide fewer services. Vote for me. Just doesn't happen. And yet sometimes that's the smartest approach in the economy. You can't do that and get elected. So fiscal policy done by elected officials, sometimes problematic. All right, that is all that I've got for you today. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Farewell.